Hello and welcome to the Rei Sportscar Championship Round 1, and this is the top division for the 40 lap feature race here at the Tsukuba circuit. We've got the same grid as we had in the original sprint race, but let's just go through it again as a quick recap. So in his first ever event, 5S took pole position with Sigrezzanico in second. Third was Brothers V, with fourth being the current champion Paquito. Fifth place was Snake96, who had a fantastic opening sprint race, with sixth place being my family team. Seventh place is former Rei Sportscar champion Skedaddle, with eighth place being Mr. Missy and Matko. In ninth place is Ross21, with Alzapi in 10th. And then the final three on the grid is Scannyflick, Yes Mate GT and Samios there at the back of the field. Now this is the feature race. Racing softs and racing mediums are the mandatory compounds. Both must be used, and therefore there is a mandatory pit stop as well. Now we might see some drivers doing a 2-stop or maybe even a 3-stop if they think they can make the most out of their soft tyres. But we're away here, going to turn 1, and 5S takes a very easy start to this race there thanks to the rolling start. It's very close with Sig and Brothers behind. A lot of the drivers are starting on the softs, but I think if we go further back we can see that 8th place Matko is on the medium tyres to start off with. So at the end of this lap he could theoretically go onto softs and then use softs for the remainder of this race, but that's probably quite unlikely. Ross, well, he's not on mediums, Alzapi isn't either, but Scannyflick he is, Yes Mate is. Meanwhile Sammy at the back, he is starting on soft, so we might see him make some early ground here at Tsukuba. But back up front, and 5S, who might have been disappointed not to win the sprint race after starting on pole position, he'll like to make amends for that here in the feature. So the second round of the season, that'll be at Brands Hatch Grand Prix, and that is a endurance round where the full 60 points are up for grab just in one race alone. Still no moves made just yet, but it's still very, very close, and we did see a lot of amazing side-by-side action in race 1. Ross has actually overtaken Matko. So we missed this just at the exit of the final turn, and Ross has got a fantastic run there on the Hungarian and makes a very simple move into turn 1. Almost contact, but that was very safe driving from both of them. And as that pair continue with the rest of the lap, let's just continue to go through the field with... Oh, Yes Mate has gone off the track. Let's get an on board from him. So he's on his own, and he's just braked far too late, gone off the brake as well as he approached the middle of the turn, and therefore has ended up sliding off into 13th place, and not where he would have wanted in these early stages. But it is a long race, there's a lot that can happen. But to go back up front, Paquito is in the wall. Paquito. So much happening here at once. So Paquito was on the back of Brothers V and has just gone way too wide, and that's given Trainer Snake the top 4 position, and my family team is now right on the back of this pack, especially as Paquito goes wide on his dirty tyres. We saw a bit of contact at the end of the sprint race between these two. Will we see any more? No, not yet. So my family team being careful, Paquito not choosing to defend. Using a lot of the curb, and actually that has allowed him to really close up here on Paquito. Will he go for the move? Oh, he's hit the rear right corner of Paquito. That sent Paquito wide. Paquito's actually onto the grass, that's how wide Paquito's ended up. And Skedaddle here. Amazing camera angle as Skedaddle gains 2 places on that back straight from 7th to 5th. My family team actually stays ahead of Paquito after pushing him wide. Stewards will definitely investigate that after the race. Meanwhile, as we go up front, there was some more racing, but we've got Trainer Snake moving into the top 3 And as we go further back, almost contact, maybe there was contact there between my family team and Skedaddle. So Skedaddle may have originally gained that position, but my family team have moved into 5th place. I heard some tyre squealing, but everyone has made it through. But 5S has had a very poor 3rd lap to this race. A 60-second lap time here in Division 1 is not what you would want. As Sigras and Eco closed up, and so did Snake and Bradders specifically. Especially as Snake has the fastest lap of the race so far with a 58.2. We've got a car off near the back, and I think it might be Al Zappi. It is. We've got to catch a replay of this. We've had some ridiculous racing. Oh, he's hit the grass, and then that's allowed Scanny and Sammy to continue racing. So these two have a lot of history in these past few seasons. Sammy making the move on his fresh softs, but Scanny actually retaking the position on the exit. He is on the mediums and is holding the American up. With that mistake from Al Zappi, that sent him down to 12th, just underneath the Dunlop Bridge. Yes Mate is still in 13th place. But Sammy goes to the inside and might finally move into the top 10 and a point-paying position. 2 points are on offer if you finish in 10th place for the feature race. Further up front, and Ross on the soft tyres after overtaking Matko. Oh, when he was trying to gain some ground, but that mistake is going to really stop him in his tracks, and with those dirty tyres he might miss the apex. Yes, he does. As we go further up front, Bradders V in the number 88 black and yellow car is falling a little bit behind the top 3. We'll just get on board. So you can see the top 3 ahead. Meanwhile, just behind, you can see my family team there in the distance. But as we look towards the top 3, is Snake going to go for a move into turn 1? Oh, he does go for a move into turn 1. And he makes big contact with the side of Sigras and Eco. That was a little bit dirty. Did have to go onto the curb. It wasn't a large out-braking manoeuvre, but there was contact, so maybe a bit of blood brewing between the two Italians, and as they fight even more, that's just allowing Turismo 5S to pull away here. And Brothers V actually might go back into the podium places, Sig having to defend from his former rival. In seasons 5 and 6, Sigras and Eco won the championship with Brothers V second. In season 7, however, Sigras and Eco was not the championship winner. Brothers V stayed in second, but it was Urbiquito who took up the spoils last time around. As we look up front, and Turismo 5S has picked up the pace a little bit after that poor start, now doing 58s. His tyre wear is pretty similar to the top 3. Meanwhile, Brothers V has very poor front left tyre wear, and that was a small mistake there in turn 2, but not as big as the mistake that Skedaddle made, and that's going to give Urbiquito 6th place due to Skedaddle's dirty tyres, causing him to miss that turn 3 apex. So Brothers V does seem to be one of the worst for tyre wear, and actually one of the best for tyre wear is my family team. Yeah, his tyres are looking incredibly good, so we might see him go on very long into this race on softs, probably doing a one-stop. Just further back, Ross has very similar tyre wear to the majority of drivers. Matko on his mediums, they're quite worn for mediums, I'd say. And Sammy, as we all know, is a tyre conservation god on those softs. Scanny Flick, Yes Mate around the outside of Al Zappi. I don't know if he's trying to defend or overtake, but Yes Mate is now into 12th place ahead of the American. The American definitely not having a good start here in the feature race. Back up front, and we are now on lap 8, and Snake has stayed with 5S. Snake not as experienced as 5S on Gran Turismo Sport, but is really proving himself to be a fierce competitor here in Season 8 Division 1. And because this top 3, even with a little bit of battling, has massively pulled away from Brothers V, who had a disappointing last lap of 59.4. My family team's in low 52s, but Urbiquito is one of the fastest currently, and I'm sure he's on a quick lap. Oh, it's not going to be quick though, he goes into the grass. Well, it's a 58.8 even with that grass as he flashes his headlights. Further back, Skedaddle has had, obviously had that mistake just. Ross 21, fairly consistent, and he's pulled away from Matko, and I hear some, I hear some big tyre smoke, and that is why we do have Sig and Trainer Snake making another collision here. It was only a couple of laps ago when Snake made contact. Oh, Snake got loose in the middle of the turn. Sig, does he regain the... So yes, Sig moves into second place after Snake got loose. That turn has actually caused quite a few problems for these Rei Sportscar Championship members. If you put the brake balance too far to the rear, you're very likely to lose control under braking for that turn. However, it can be good to have your brake balance to the rear for some of the other turns, such as turn 1, or that tight hairpin that we've just seen these runners go through. And Snake now back on the inside. And oh, side by side. Argy-bargy with Sig Rezanico. He will make the move stick. Oh, and doesn't actually give much room to Sig. You'd expect maybe a little bit of nicer driving from fellow Italians, but yeah, really not giving an inch there to each other. And Snake loses it again in turn 2, but he manages to hold it a little bit better than he did last time. Didn't need to counter steer as much. We're now a quarter into this feature race, still a long way to go, so yeah, so one thing you don't want to be doing is getting time penalties. That's really going to cost you. My family team has taken part of that penalty without too much time loss, it seems, so he's now looking for the 4th place. We can see that Bradesby's front left tyre is incredibly poor, so that is something that he'll have to work on for the remaining 7 rounds. If we think back to Season 7, Bradesby wasn't too bad on tyre wear, but then back in Season 5 and Season 6 in the GT500 cars, it was definitely one of his main problems that stopped him winning more races, but my family team therefore moves past on his more conserved soft tyres, let's say. Just a quick look near the back, and we've got Al Zappi, Yes Mate and Scanny all going into turn 1 pretty close, so that's great to see that we've still got battling all throughout this Division 1 field. Samios is now actually kind of on his own here. He'll have to use the medium tyres later on, and hence may fall back into the likes of Yes Mate GT and Scanny. Yeah, Bradesy is really falling back. He's struggling to have any sort of quality pace here as Erpakito now on the back. Now obviously Erpakito lost a couple of positions earlier with contact with my family team. And I think Erpakito might go for the move in turn 1. Is Bradesy going to defend? No, Bradesy making that incredibly easy for the Italian. No fight, no resistance. It is only 12 laps into this race. And yet again we're seeing oversteer through turn 2. Snake maybe has his brake balance too far to the rear, or maybe he's just not being careful enough on the brakes, and that is allowing 5S to pull away. Sig does actually look like the faster driver right now, but oh, he sneaks on the inside actually, and now they're side by side, but no, Sig will have to back out and get into the slipstream. And we got car into the pits. That is surprising. Erpakito on his soft tyres, well, his front left is actually quite heavily worn. Meanwhile, Ross is also into the pits. Yeah, his front left's a little bit more than Erpakito. They've pitted on lap 12, which would suggest a 2-stop strategy to me. Are they going on to mediums now, or are they going on to another set of softs? We shall see. So Erpakito has left the pit lane and he's left it on a fresh set of softs, so he definitely has to make a second pit stop to use the medium compound later on. Meanwhile, Ross is actually using this opportunity to get rid of his mediums, and actually this is a great time for him to do it, because he isn't going to... He saw that he got some nice clean air to use the fresh rubber of those tyres. The mediums aren't too bad here. They're only a second slower than the fresh softs. So probably about the same pace as 13 lap warm softs. Back up front, 5S setting some okay pace, but actually Snake has closed in by 4/10. Sig has closed in as well, and my family team looking pretty quick with 59.2, 59.2, 59.1 the last 3 laps. Further back we can see therefore Bradisvy's consistency is dropping with how poor the tyre wear is there on his Mazda specifically. Skedaddle actually doing pretty poorly as well, and I think Paquito until his pit stop was around the same level. So he's rejoined ahead of Matko and Samios. We've actually got some great battling here near the back. A Scanny Flick and yes mate, I made contact. Well, Scanny Flick clearly went very deep into the turn. Yes mate saw the opportunity. There was slight contact, but nothing too untoward. And then at the back is Al-Sabi, who, yeah, his front left is looking very bad, so maybe we'll see him into the pit lane soon, similar to Ross and Paquito's strategy. Oh, excuse me, out of nowhere, what has happened here? So we've only got the top 3 separated by about a 10th, and sorry for missing this, but as we look onto the Wolf Cola sponsored replay, Snake has gone, oh, that's a poor move. There was contact there for sure, as Snake goes down the inside of 5S, more contact on the exit. That is not the way I would like to see the lead changing, but Snake moves into the lead. Sig stays in 3rd. That was 2 little bits of contact, which maybe weren't necessary when making an overtake. Snake and 5 have pretty similar tyre wear, meanwhile Sig has better tyre wear and almost sneaks down the inside. Bit more contact between the top 2 there, and my family team, yeah, his tyre conservation has actually been excellent, and he's now looking the quickest of this top 4. No further pit stops as these top 4 battle just within a second of each other, about a third into this race, just over a third into this race actually. Are we going to see a move into turn 1? And actually yes we are, from my family team. Oh, that's way too late on the brakes. Actually hit in 2nd place 5S, who are 2 car lengths ahead. Sig therefore drops into 4th place, but will he be let by my family team? I don't know if that was a let by, but Sig retakes the position, but he brakes too late. My family team therefore on the outside now, going into turn 3. Will he make the move stick? Oh, he tries, but there's slight contact. My family team maybe cutting across too much. Maybe Sig shouldn't have been there, but my family team eventually drops down to 4th after all of that contact. That all started at turn 1, and in the end, no position changes, but the top 4 has spread out slightly with all of that. As we just have a quick look further back, Bradisvy therefore really dropping with his lap times. Skedaddle dropping a bit as well, but our 2 race leaders are seemingly on the same strategy. They're pit on lap 16. Are they going to do a 1 stop? And where are they going to come out in relation to Paquito? So as they cross the line to start 17, and I think that was Paquito overtaking them with the undercut. However, Snake is on the mediums, and I think so is 5S. They do not need to make another pit stop, but Paquito, of course, has to use the medium tyres later on, so he may be ahead for now, but he has to make a lot of ground in the remaining laps on this soft compound. We definitely have a 2-stop versus 1-stop race here, which is absolutely brilliant to say here in the Rei Sportscar Championship. Just what we wanted to see from feature races. Just going further back, and Matko, he's in 7th ahead of Samios. Skedaddle just pitted. He's on a fresh set of softs, so he's still he's yet to use the mediums. Ross in 10th has rejoined. Ross 10th behind Skedaddle. Yes mate 11th. Scanny Flick 12th, and Al-Zapi is 13th on very worn soft tyres. Up front though, we've got 2 more drivers making their first pit stop. So Skedaddle just pitted. Where is he going to be in relation to Bradisvy? And, well, there is V, and he is ahead of Skedaddle. He's also ahead of Sammy, so that has not worked out at all for Skedaddle. Got a car in between. I can just see ahead. Matko, however, is ahead of V, so V having to make an overtake shortly, I think, on Matko. Now let's see where my family team, the American, got out. He's got out in 5th, and he is in so much clean air. He's just 2.5 seconds behind 5S and Snake. And then that's a further 2.5 seconds to Erpakito. Our race leader and 4-time Rei champion is also in the pit lane. We'll see where he comes out in a moment. We're just looking here at Matko and V on the inside on the fresh softs. He has way more grip. Does he go for the move? He does go for the move. Clean racing from the two of them. But as we go back up front, well, where is Sigras and Nico? There's Sigras and Nico. Sigras and Nico and my family team come out side by side out of turn 1. We had some contact earlier. Are we going to see more? Almost on the grass, and I think Sig has that position. Ooh, hitting the door there of Sigras and Nico, definitely forcing Sig off the track. Sig still on the inside for turn 3, and that is more contact with the rear right corner. Flashing headlights from Sig. He's nowhere near pleased with that racing. He did get forced off the track there at the exit 2 and 2, that is for certain, but the stewards will look at that along with the turn 3 incident at the Dunlop Bridge. Further back, so yeah, V and Skedaddle are now pretty close, as Skedaddle's also got past Matko. Let's just see how that happened. So Matko losing 2 positions in about a lap, but of course he is yet to pit and he's on mediums. And that's a fantastic move there from Skedaddle around the outside of the hairpin. A lot of good racing room given though from the Hungarian. Going into turn 1, Sig looking a bit closer. Oh, that's a little bit of a move under braking from my family team. Sig did look a little bit to the inside. Oh, and more contact, and I think my family team got forced onto the grass there from the Italian driver. Oh, this is not what we want to see. This is touring car action and not in a good way. My family team keeps the 4th place, but therefore there's a lot for the stewards to look at there. And he's gone off the track completely on his own, completely cutting the track, and he rejoins and hits Sig. He rejoins, hits Sig, goes into 5th place, and that's a lot of time lost for the both of them. We'll just get a quick replay as we go into turn 1. We're going to look on board. So we can see he's in 4th gear, and he looks to the inside, and then right as Sig wants to brake, there is a little move. Was that too much for a braking move? Well, the stewards will have to decide, and also the stewards will have to decide to see if Sig got forced off. And then as we can see in the rearview mirror, and then on our side, my family team going onto the curb to retake that position. So as we go back here to lap 21, just a quick rundown. Erpakito leading this race but is yet to use the medium compounds. He needs to push away on the softs. Snake's pace on the mediums is absolutely superb. He's pulled away from 5S and he's doing 59.2s. That's the fastest I've ever seen on mediums. 5S we can see having a very disastrous last lap, 60.8 seconds. We've then got Sig, Skedaddle and Bradders. So a lot has happened here. So my family team has entered the pits, and then going into turn 1, Skedaddle's at the overtake on Bradders V. They're on the same... Oh no, sorry, no they're not. Bradders V went onto the medium compound. Skedaddle was on the softs. He's yet to use that medium compound. Further back, Sammy and Matko fighting, and they are fighting because Matko has simply dropped off a bit. Now Sammy is on very old soft tyres that he's made to... He's managed to make them work for... Oh, what is that? What was that driving? But yeah, Sammy's staying in 7th here and he's making these soft tyres last a while. One driver who is struggling to do that is Al Zappi, who You can just see in the front left, he really should have pitted a long time ago. This is a strategy that just is not going to work as he drops off the field way behind Yes Mate and Scanny. My family team has made his second pit stop on, I believe. He's on another set of soft, so he might actually be going for a free stop strategy, which is very peculiar considering how good his tyre conservation has been. You would expect him to have done a one-stop strategy and really maximise his soft tyres. Ross 21 in 9th behind Matko. We've seen those two pretty close for quite a long period of this race, but of course they are on different strategies. So there's still a lot of racing to go as all these strategies fall into place. We've got some drivers who still need to use the mediums, some whose tyres just simply aren't going to last and need to make another pit stop, and some who pitted earlier than others whose tyres might die out quicker. The main scrap here is for 7th, 8th and 9th with Sammy, Ross and Matko, and are any of them going to come into the pits? Look like Samios is. He finally pits on lap 22 and he'll put on the medium compounds surely. Matko, well, he'll probably do the role reversal and use the soft tyres for the last 18 laps. He'll be one to look out for definitely at the end. Back up front, Paquito on his softs, not really showing the pace that we might have expected, especially when Snake 96 is at the same pace on mediums. This is a masterstroke in strategy if Snake can pull this off. 5S not having the same pace and Sig on fresh mediums, well, he's got the same pace as Snake, so yeah, 5S I think is the driver who needs to improve on the harder of the two compounds. Race leader Paquito pitting, surely he'll put on mediums. Currently he's done soft. If he uses mediums until the end of the race, he doesn't have to worry too much about tyre wear. Mediums can easily last 17 laps. We see him rejoin in 6th place there behind the British driver. And he's approximately 8 seconds behind our race leader. So Paquito on fresh mediums is about, yeah, maybe 8 seconds behind Snake 96 on worn mediums. About 5 seconds behind 5S and Sig, but Sig is also on pretty good mediums. He's going around the outside of 5S, surely that can't work. That might work if 5S was on sport tyres or something, but not on the same strategy. We can then see Skedaddle, Bradley and Paquito behind. Skedaddle yet to use the mediums, remember. We're just going to have a quick look for 8th because my family team may take the 7th position. Not just yet, so we'll just quickly go back into the podium positions. No, 5S holding on off Sig. Oh, he goes very, very wide. And while these two battle, Snake is going to increase his lead exponentially as Sig having to go very wide. He almost ends up in the gravel, and actually 5S getting very, very loose in the middle of the turn as well. Back further, so we can see that my family team actually got the run through the final turn. I'm not sure if there was any contact, but Ross is on the medium tyres, so that overtaker was to be expected. And then Sammy, Yesmate and Matko, who just pitted, are fighting. So Yesmate, is he able to defend from Matko? No, Matko there on the fresh softs. Moving into that points paying position, he currently has 2 points. Further back, the final driver to make his pit stop is Al Zappi. He has put those softs on for way too long. Probably should have done a 2-stop strategy, or at least pitted a solid 10 laps ago. But this is something he can learn from for round 2 at Brands Hatch. Paquito on the mediums he put on just a couple of laps ago, right onto the back of Brothers V, and that is a brilliant lap time at 58.9 as he also goes for the move in turn 1. Brothers V, meanwhile, is about half a second slower than the Italian at this stage of the race. And what's this happening up front? We've got Sig overtaking on the inside of 5S. That's a superb overtaking manoeuvre. Oh, but he's braked too late. 5S on the outside, the side-by-side. We've already seen some contact today, but he holds on. and we've now got an Italian 1-2, but no! What is this? And I think in all of that, 5S might get that position back. This is amazing racing either way with the very similar cars, a lot of red and black on them. This has been side by side for an entire lap it seems, and I think they were side by side for the previous lap as well. And this is playing right into the hands of Snake96, who might win his first ever Rei Sportscar Championship event. Now it's 5S on the inside as we look into turn 1. And 5S makes it, and does he give room on the exit? Yes, he does. And we can also see in the background we've got Paquito on the outside of Skedaddle, trying to catch two things at once. Skedaddle actually holding on with Paquito. So this is a carbon copy of what we saw on lap 26, and this is the best racing that we've seen today. Sig defending yet again on the inside, forcing Turismo 5S to the outside. Meanwhile, Skedaddle has done amazingly here to hold off Paquito for as long as he is doing. Oh, Skedaddle going for the move. Paquito therefore goes on the outside, and there's contact, big contact. Skedaddle actually pushing 5S. That's a very poor move. Will Skedaddle let 5S past? I really hope so. No, he doesn't, so that's disappointing driving to see. And Sig very, very loose through turn 2 in all of this. 5S has lost 3 positions. Oh, whoa, 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 where is Skedaddle going? Skedaddle almost going off the track. Well, 5S lost far too many positions there, considering how clean he was driving. Skedaddle has fallen back, and Brothers V going to nip through. They're side by side, and Brothers might have to concede that and settle into 5th place. Paquito, therefore, has just gained, what, 3 positions in a very short amount of time. And I'm just trying to understand what's happened to Sig Rezanico. Oh, so Sig Rezanico actually let these by. Why did Sig Rezanico let these by? Sig Rezanico was the one who forced Skedaddle off the track. That is very fair play from Sig. Just a quick rundown here with 12 laps to go. Snake96 out in front, and he does not need to make another pit stop. Now he might choose to. He could put on another set of softs. Yeah, but he's lapping very well for now. Paquito is about 6 seconds back. Skedaddle in 3rd. Brothers V in 4th. Oh, make that 5th as Sig gets through on the inside. Then in 6th. And I don't really understand how this has happened, but 5S, through a mixture of a lack of pace on the mediums and being forced wide there at turn 1 on the previous lap, is forced all the way down to 6th. And considering he started from pole position, maybe something has to change with his strategy. And he might drop down to 7th as My Family Team goes down the inside? No. But My Family Team, I think, has... Well, he's made 2 pit stops, I think. Will he use soft for the rest of the race? Well, we'll see. Ross 21 is ahead of Mako. Ross, meanwhile, has just pitted. My Family Team making a 3rd pit stop as soon as he caught that back of that top 6. Peculiar strategy. Bold call. We'll see if it plays off later on. Sammy, he's on the mediums now, and he's going to barely use them because of how long he used the soft tyres for. Yes Mate GT, he's in 11th, that's outside of the points for now. Scannyflick, he's now on the soft tyres, and 59.1 is pretty good pace, 1 tenth slower than Yes Mate. And then at the back is Al Zappi, who's a lap down. We can just see there with Paquito, Skedaddle and the like in the background, but he's finding it maybe a little bit easier now on the mediums and not the worn soft tyres. 10 laps to go. Just one thing is my family team has rejoined there, still in 7th place. He's got clean air, fresh soft tyres, so maybe he'll be one to look out for in about 8 or 9 laps time. And who's that in the pits? Skedaddle finally was going to use the medium compound. So he was running very well in 3rd, but he is surely going to rejoin probably around where my family team is. So my family team here coming into turn 1, Skedaddle, I think, is on the inside. He is, and that is a masterstroke. That's a masterstroke in strategy if he can stay ahead of my family team. However, my family team is on soft tyres after using the mediums for only a couple of laps earlier. But the longer that Skedaddle can hold up my family... Ooh, big contact. The longer that he can hold my family team up, the less likely it is for my family team to get ahead of anyone else in the top 5. Skedaddle running a little bit wide, my family team on the inside, and I think that move will... Oh, that's a lot of side... excuse me, what are we seeing here? That is something that might need to be looked at from the stewards. We're going to take a replay of that. So, I don't understand what is going on here. Skedaddle, they're side by side in the straight, and Skedaddle completely sideswipes my family team. That is a straight up sideswipe, and there was absolutely no reason for that. Oh, that's a late defence there as well from Skedaddle. We saw my family team doing a similar defensive move with Sigres and Eco, and now he's getting a little bit of that back, and going into turn 2, just enough room given, and I think my family team will actually get this move done. But that was some very dirty driving, very dirty defence that I saw. Ninth place Matko, who was fighting with Ross, I think has spun out here. He's gone face first into the Tsukuba circuit tyre wall. It's a mistake that we did see earlier from, I think, Alzapi. But that's any chance of a top 8 finish. It's surely gone there for the Hungarian, and that might allow Samios and Yesmate into a higher points playing position. Back up front, Snake 96 actually losing his lead a bit as Erpakito closes in by half a second in the last few laps. Sigres and Eco in 3rd, and I think he might have to settle for 3rd. Meanwhile, Brothers V has actually held off 5S since 5S lost those positions with the contact. Now, Brothers V and Turismo 5S, I say have generally been clean, especially 5S. We've then got my family team in 6th, pulling in some great lap times on the softs, and this lap will surely be better now that he's got rid of Skedaddle. A 58.5 as my family team was slightly on the grass, but that is good lap time. But I think the fastest lap of the race was actually done by Snake 96 in the early stages when he was on his softs. He set a 58.2. Paquito is now 5/10 quicker though, and with 6 laps remaining he's 3 seconds back, so we might see this battle close up right on the final lap, lap 40 of 40. We're just going to go back a lap because Yes Mate GT has moved up into the top 10 ahead of Samios. Now they might be on slightly different strategies. We know that Samios is on the mediums, Yes Mate on the softs. Ooh, that I can't tell if there was contact there or not. Yes Mate does move into the top 10. If there was contact, it was just very, very hard to notice. That might give Yes Mate the opportunity to fight with Matko, who's on very worn soft tyres. Meanwhile, probably without a chance of points at this stage is Scanny in 12th and especially Alzapi in 13th a lap down. I'm really, really struggling. Oh, that's just enough room given as Matko actually drops to 10th. Yes Mate making a fantastic move there at turn 1. I don't think that there was too much contact. Matko, oh, okay, now that is definitely too much contact. And Matko actually straight up slows up. I believe he's understood his mistake straight away. Samios therefore moves up into the points. We're going to go back up front because the gap between the top two has closed significantly. It's been half a second, half a second, half a second, lap in, lap out. And with this strategy at play, with the softs and the mediums being mandatory and the drivers using them at different stages, we've got an amazing climax on our hands. This battle here for 4th has closed up because my family team is on his fresh softs, meanwhile Turismo 5S and Bradley are both on heavily worn mediums. They've been doing pretty much the same strategy, which is a one-stop. They started on the softs, gone onto the mediums. Is it the fastest strategy? Well, maybe it is for them. Is the free stop from my family team the fastest strategy? Well, maybe it is to him. But my family team on the inside now with the extra grip going into turn 1 at 37 of 40, and he makes yes, it is a clean move, it seems. Yep, he sticks to the inside. Oh my, that's amazing defensive work there from 5S, actually managing to stay in the top 5 for now. My family team thinking better of it now and will try and get the good exit out of turn 2. He's on the outside for turn 3, but not alongside. Just a quick run. Oh, that's a big time loss we've had from Snake. We're actually just going to check out this lap because I think he's made a big error in turn 1. Oh, that is actually quite a big error. He's braked far too late, far too much to the inside, and that is another half a second lost. But as we go back here to this battle for 4th, 5th and 6th, and Turismo 5S defends, Bradesby also defends. There is maybe a little love tap, but my family team aims to go around the outside. No, not to be. That just isn't going to work with 5S's superb defensive driving. Turismo 5S has got an amazing run out of the corner, and there's so much happening. Turismo 5S has moved up into 4th ahead of Bradesby. Maybe Bradesby made a mistake because he just lost 2 positions in one corner, and my family team has now moved up into 5th place. We'll catch a replay just in a moment, just wondering if my family team can get into 4th. No, he can't. Bradesby back on the outside, and my family team has driven straight onto the grass, and he's rejoined dangerously into Bradesby, forced him into the wall. My family team lost control there of the rear of his car with the grass. Let's get a look at all of that action. We're going to go on board first with my family team. So Bradesby gets onto the grass. He's lost the momentum. Oh, my family team loses control. And going into turn 1, he's on the grass. He loses control again, this time on the entry to turn 1. It hits the side of Bradesby. Turismo there making the great move into turn 1 as we went 3 wide and Bradesby lost 2 positions. But then we're going to go on board with Bradesby on the outside. Almost gets run out of road, and then my family team far too aggressive on the throttle on the grass, and that has really cost Bradesby. Skedaddle here, who was in 7th, is now side by side with Brothers V here on lap 38, going into the penultimate turn and makes the move stick. He does run wide, so maybe Brothers V can hold on, but no, Skedaddle gets the better exit. That's incredibly unfortunate. That was completely the error of the American driver. And my family team stays in 5th. Brothers V loses out. But back up front, we got Erpachito on the outside on lap 39, fighting with Snake 96. And actually, I think these have been battling for a while. We're going to go back. With so much happening, it's been easy to miss, and I apologise. So, back at the start of lap 38, Snake made the first defensive move. He braked far too late, and Erpachito retook the position, taking the lead with just 2 laps to go. And that, as you can see, simultaneously was the complete mess that was happening in 4th, 5th and 6th. Oh, that was a bad bump there from Snake 96. And yeah, Paquito getting forced out wide. So after a clean move in turn 1, there was a bit of dirty stuff back. Then going into the penultimate turn, which is maybe turn 5 in your views. Well, actually, oh, Snake parked the bus. Interesting driving. Not sure how Paquito feels about it, but I think Paquito was very surprised that Snake was still on the inside at the apex of the corner. Then, as we went to lap 39, Paquito got the better run on his fresher mediums. Snake went for the instant defensive move. That is how you make the defensive move. Paquito gave plenty of room, a solid 3 car whips. And we can see going into turn 1 that Snake yet again tried to park the bus at the exit, not using all the track. It's an interesting tactic, which does seem to be working as we go into turn 2. Paquito on the outside, and that's far too late. Ooh, bump. And I think Paquito might gain the position. No, they are side by side, so that is a slight advantage gained from that little bump. And they are still side by side after the contact in turn 1 and 2. Around the outside, surely not, surely not. For the win? Is that going to be an overtake for the win? Yes, it is. Paquito holds it around the outside, and he's got the better run. We're going to go on board with him. And I think he's got this. I think he's got this. As we look to the side, we can see Snake is falling back. Around the outside yet again. No, Snake holding on. Paquito still sticking around the outside. There is contact. Will that send Paquito off? No, he's on the AstroTurf, and we're on the final lap. Who is going to win here? Who is going to claim the feature race victory? It's going to be surely Snake or Paquito, but if these continue, we might see a race damaging incident, and we could see Sig taking the win. Paquito went around the outside and has taken the lead at turn 1, and I think he's held on. You think he's held on with just 30 seconds left of this race. Amazing stuff from Paquito. Maybe a bit of dirty driving from both in the previous races, and now Snake is ruining his own race by going across the track. Sig will close in. Meanwhile, my family team has moved up into 4th. Apologies for missing that, but with so much happening up front, we had to catch it. And I think it is now all done and dusted after Snake 96's mistake. His mediums are shot. Paquito's strategy has won out. Paquito claims the feature race win here at Tsukuba in exceptional circumstances. Congratulations to him, and congratulations to all 3 Italian drivers for a complete lockout of the podium, with Snake 96 second, Sig Rezanico just behind, my family team in 4th after overtaking Turismo 5S late on and overtaking Brothers V. 5S in 5th, who drove very cleanly, but things just did not work out for him on the mediums. Skedaddle in 6th, 7th was Brothers V, forced into the wall late on. Ross 21 in 8th, maybe a little bit quiet, but still a great performance. Samios in 9th, Matko in 10th. We're going to catch a replay of that. Looked very close at the line. Meanwhile, Yesmate GT, who we'll go on board with, finishes 11th, just outside of the points positions. Scannyflick comes home in 12th, a lap down was Al Zappi in 13th. We hope you've enjoyed this. It was an action-packed race. See you next time for Division 2.